Every single time you see the actual number 7 or 777 or 77 or any combination of these particular numbers for that matter, you need to understand that there is a very important and specific message that you are going to have at that very same time. The message that you are going to have, it's to do with your own path. It's to do with what you are focusing on right now. It's to do with what you are trying to achieve. It's to do with what you would like to achieve, but you have stumbled upon a very big problem that created a rather heavy blockage. This is a rather sacred combination of numbers, my gorgeous Virgos. You need to understand this when it comes to the actual month of January 2022. This is going to lead you towards a really big moment in your life, and it's not going to be only one. So there is a lot that is going to be answered to you at that very moment in time. It may not happen like almost immediately, but you need to understand that as soon as you see the number 7 or 777 or 77 repeating, as soon as you notice this absolutely sacred combination of wonderful numbers, your spiritual connection with yourself is very, very strong indeed, and that in itself is projecting a rather magnetic energy towards the universe. So your thoughts, your way of thinking, but especially when it comes to something that's so important to you, something that just kind of put you on the actual path of such an uncertainty, it's going to be answered to you in a pretty sacred way, that you are on the right path, you are doing the right thing, and very, very soon, like almost immediately after that moment in time, after you come across these numbers, you know, there is going to be a very specific information that you are going to have, and each time you see this numbers, each time this is actually going to happen, and that specific information, it's nothing to do with you, it's not going to be connected with your personal situation, but after that moment in time, you will know what to do with yourself, you will know what to do with your personal situation. It's an answer to your problem, it's an answer to your blockage, it's an answer to your uncertainty. But most certainly by the time you get to the actual last part of January 2022, especially the last 11 days, all this is going to make sense so much, because there are so many things that are actually going to happen, that are going to unfold until that very moment in time. And this is why also I would like to stress this to you, that the actual month of January, it is not going to be the time to actually try to rush into things and things like that, because you're going to learn so much about a lot of things around you, but at the same time, ultimately, you're going to learn so much about yourself. So pretty much so the last 11 days of January, there is so much that is actually going to change within your current situation, but purely based on those things that have been slowing you down. And it's not only about being slowed down, it's not only about feeling disoriented, but it's about losing that optimism, and you must not lose that optimism whatsoever. This is why this is so important, because if you lose your optimism, your spirit is going to be your spirit is going to break, your spirit is going to be broken. So you must not allow your spirit to be broken. So you have to remember to stay on top of things by being as optimistic as you possibly can. Now it's more important than ever. And you know what? It's not only about the sequence of this like very sacred and powerful numbers. You know, every single time you see 77 or 777 on your time, on the television, on the computer, or wherever you see, you just need to know to pay attention to the specific blockage that you have in your mind, something that is like kind of preventing you to move on. You're gonna get an important answer that you're on the right path, but just sometimes you just have to like do things that only make sense to you, you know. This is the whole month of January is going to be literally like that. Remember the power of number 7. It's about you coming out of yourself. It's about your own spirituality. It's about you understanding from such a powerful and mind-blowing and absolutely super wise angle. Because at the same time, there are certain possibilities that you are gonna also, through this situation, certain possibilities that you're gonna become aware, that you need to become aware at this moment in your time, in your life. And also on the 7th of January, on the 17th of January, and on the 27th of January 2022, these 3 days, I specifically need you to pay attention to these numbers, and I specifically need you to pay attention for any sorts of signs, because when it comes to this powerful number, now this is going to highlight quite a lot in your life, my gorgeous Virgolini. Just remember the 7th of January, 17th of January, and the 27th of January. These 3 days are going to bring you the sacred opening. They are going to bring you the knowledge of the sacred path, okay? And that in itself, it's going to provide you with an important sign. So there are going to be 3, oh my Lord, mind-blowing signs that you are going to have on these days. And these signs are not going to be just like, oh yes, signs. These 3 signs are going to be mind-blowing eye-openers. Each time your eyes are going to be more open, and that's exactly what it needed to happen in this moment in time when it comes to the actual month of January 2022, because it's all about you coming back to yourself. It's all about you following your intuition, and it's all about you making sure that you stay on your path. You have to be the one who is holding your own candle. It's rather dark at the moment, okay, rather dark right there at the moment, and it has been quite dark for a while. So that's why specifically you must make sure that you are in this darkness holding, I know it sounds all dark, blah blah blah, but you you must make sure that you are the one holding your own candle, okay? Because that's the only way to lighten up your own path. You must not give your own candle to somebody else. Because if you do give your own candle to somebody else, you will not be aware of where you're going. You will not be able to see where you're going. So that's why at this time it's very, very important for you to remember to not to give to anyone else your own spiritual candle. You are the one who needs to hold it. You are the one who needs to walk your path, okay? Because and the way you give your spiritual candle to somebody else is if you're just like doing things that absolutely don't make sense. So this is why. This is how you give your spiritual candle. That little bit away, a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And the more you do it, the more things don't make sense. So you need to come out of the dark waters. And to come out of the dark waters, this is exactly what you need to do. On another note, this month it's going to be super promising. Something absolutely mind-blowing is going to happen. The huge, massive, enormous mystery is going to be revealed. This is going to be so personal to you. And this is why am I looking forward to this month so much. My name is Sasha Bonasin, and I'm a psychic medium. And this is your monthly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you, my gorgeous Virgo, and it's for January 2022. So this monthly horoscope tarot card focus is for you, my gorgeous Virgolini, and it's for January 2022. You are most certainly going to have a huge turning point, believe it or not. You know that it's like basically the blockage that hasn't been removed for the last 24 months. It's slowly about to start moving and moving towards the right direction, which means that, the more you plan about your future, the more it's gonna come to you. The more you focus on yourself, the more are things going to make sense. The more you plan and focus on your future planning, the more things are going to make sense to you. You're gonna remove yourself from the darkness. You have to remember, the actual month in numerology, it's the actual number 150 1509 is your number. When it comes to the actual numerology, this is a very powerful number, and it has got a quite a strong energy about it. When it comes to you know what is going to be highlighted, things that you're trying to do are going to be very strong. You know, you're going to feel them on a very much kind of higher angle. When you want to achieve something, when you kind of like feel very passionate, there are going to be few points this month when you're going to feel super energetic, and you're not going to be able to see and understand where this is coming from. But every single time when you're feeling super energetic, my gorgeous Virgolinis, at the same time you need to remember this powerful vibration that you are creating. So it's not only about feeling, oh yeah baby, like energetic and things like that, but it's also at the same time about paying attention to the ideas that you are going to have. So this is going to be another sign that you need to pay attention to through your own vibration. There are going to be few different points in January where you're going to feel like really energetic, like really excited, and really like kind of like a very strong and powerful energy in terms of like your own excitement, and in terms of feeling like so re-energized, how you haven't felt in a quite while. Or, I mean, at least within the last 36 months, this energy hasn't been happening in your life. So this in itself is going to make you feel quite optimistic, but then on another hand, you also need to make the most of it. So you do as much as you can, like, and things like that, but also at the same time just pay attention to the ideas. There will be some very powerful ideas that you're gonna be having, very powerful realizations that you're gonna be having, very powerful clarity. You know, it's gonna come to you at the same time, because it's not only about feeling energized and re-energized, but it's at the same time paying attention to what is coming to you at this moment of excitedness and this moment of happiness, you know, at the same time. And this is how you make the most of it. You are pretty much so going to you know, find yourself at around the mid-month, at around the mid-January 2022. This is when this energy is going to be really strong, you know. You're going to feel quite creative at around the mid-January. Specifically, you're going to feel quite creative. And also, I know that you're going to kind of stumble upon the problem where you're going to think like you will, you know, it's to do with like a little bit of an idea. It's to do with a little bit of like your own focus. It's to do with a little bit of your imagination. You know, it's all going to be very strong and very powerful point in your life, but at the same time there is going to be like a bit of like, oh my god, I'm not too sure. And this is what you need to understand, that there is a lot of negativity and rather devilish energy coming from the outside that is affecting us in a way like, oh, we can't move on, we can't do this, we can't do that, you can't do this. No, it's just all about you realizing the power of your own self, because this is what you need to understand, that this month you're going to realize, you know, through your own turning point, your own power, your own magnetic energy. So just do not forget this. You know, keep your head up and just focus on yourself. Focus on your energy, focus on things that you are doing, focus on your planning, because the month is going to be very powerful when it comes to the planning. So as soon as you find yourself on your path, you know, a lot is going to be coming to you, but subconsciously this is going to be building you up there where you need to be built in order to get the necessary confidence to move on with your life. This is a very important time for you to remember, because you know you're going to come out of something very dark and very negative and something that doesn't make sense, and it's still not going to make sense to you, but you will know that you are coming out of the dark stage and the dark period out of your life. You may not explain it, why is it so dark, why is it so negative, why is it so weird, why does it make sense, but most certainly you will know that there is a certain energy that you must not allow yourself to absorb. Ignore the negativity as much as you can throughout January, because you know you're very perceptive, you're very deep, and just like focusing on the negativity and negative energy that you've been fed for such a long time, it's only going to slow you down, and it's only kind of we become like a little spiritual sponges, and we're absorbing this without even realizing, like even subconsciously. So now strictly you have to pretty much so just pay attention to and make sure to stay on your own path, because you know you are gonna pretty much so so at around the mid-January, there is something going to come to you, and then it's going to be this moment like, oh, I'm not too sure. And this is when you just need to remember that you have to trust yourself and understand that sometimes you just have to like kind of like do your own thing, you know, like so much, you know, come out of yourself and just swim a little bit against the current, you know, at the same time. This is something you need to remember, because, you know, this is going to pretty much so help you also to adapt yourself through your own originality, but also your self-confidence is going to be like absolutely superb. And that in itself, it's also kind of going to at around the same time when it comes to the mid-January, it's just all about the actual you know, you will become aware of something very unusual, very bizarre, very strange, you know, at the same time. And I think that this is going to be the little drop, you know, in a glass that is just going to make the whole glass overflowing. It looks like that you're going to have completely enough, because something is at around the same time going to be proven to you. And this is what you know, what I can say, like, you know, certain things in our lives, they really happen, you know, they're meant to happen when they're meant to happen, and it's down on us to recognize them and to see them. So there is a specific warning that you're going to have. Certain mask is going to fall even more, and when mask of this person and these people fall even more, when you become aware of the fact that they're not like kind of like almost like they're not human behind, they're not humans, you know, you're almost going to think like, oh my god, they're like some kind of devilish, like a kind of like a creatures walking on this earth. And most certainly this is actually truth. And this is going to be proven to you, and that is just going to be playing such an important role when it comes to you really pretty much so trusting yourself and trusting your creativity, and just you know, you will realize at the same time that, you know, against all odds this month you will indeed have a big chance to make something so important to you real. This is what needs to be the driving mantra, you know, when it comes to you, my gorgeous Virgolini, you know, throughout this month. You know, if you feel low, if you feel down, if you feel negative, just remember that there is also in the very thickness of this energy, you can you can turn this, you know, you can change this, you can manipulate this energy, and that can actually help you, you know. So all you need to do is just make that spiritual knock. If you feel low, if you feel negative, if you feel down, you know, you just draw yourself into something that you enjoy, draw yourself into something, towards something that makes you feel very optimistic and positive, and you will see, you will create quite a lot. And this is the power of actually trying to, you know, manipulating this energy in your favor. So just remember that this is like your mantra, you know, against all odds this month you will indeed have a big chance to make something so important to you real. But you know, this is also going to be kind of like absolutely this is going to become obvious at around the 22nd of January. 22nd, 23rd, 24th and 25th of January are going to be big mamas when it comes to this, you know. You just also I hope you remember Sashita, but it's like you are a magician of your own destiny, and this is how you're gonna feel. There is going to be such a great inspiration, and at the same time you're gonna find yourself at the beginning of something so important, because the very special part of your life, something that is so significant to you, it's also going to reveal by the end of the actual month of January, you know, absolutely mind-blowing big mama possibilities, unlimited possibilities, you know. So it's what to do, it's what you're doing right now, what you're focusing on. By the same time, you know, sometimes we just need to wait for the specific part of our lives karmically to go over, to kind of like learn a new lesson, certain lesson, until we can move on. So it looks like, you know, this is something that karmically it's meant to be happening now. I'm not saying that you didn't notice this before, that you didn't realize this before, how to kind of like go on the next step or the next stage of your life, whatever you're focusing on. Maybe it's your work, maybe it's your career, maybe if you're retired, you know, you want to do something so much, but because a lot was happening, that kind of like made you feel really negative, and that just kind of slowed you down. You know, there can be so many different aspects, but it's of you, but it's all going to be leading towards the same thing, towards the same point in your life, the beginning of something very special. It's actually going to happen, it's going to manifest, it's going to come to you with what you're doing right now. now, what you're focusing on, where would you like to take your life. But you know what you didn't realize before, there are going to be unlimited possibilities. There's going to be so many other possibilities that are going to become rather vavavoomish when it comes to you, my gorgeous Virgolinis, right now. But it's also going to make you feel so good, you know. And also on another hand, you know, it's all about the actual the beginning of a very, very meaningful experience here. And the meaningful experience that you are going to have, my gorgeous Virgolinis, this month, it's also kind of going to happen right towards the end of the actual, I would say it's going to happen like within the last 7 days in January 2021. There is going to be very beautiful, emotional, fantastic experience that you are going to have. And you are going to also realize, you know, kind of like something very specific about your abilities. It's going to be highlighted, but also at the same time it's just going to bring you hope and faith and inspiration. You know, this is fantastic because it's going to lead towards a very bright prospects in your life. And this is not only like the things that you're doing, trying to achieve, the things that you're trying to focus. This is to do with your life in general. It's to do with a huge, massive picture, you know, and it's to do with an optimism that it's also at the same time going to make you feel really good about yourself, and it's going to give you a chance to reflect on your life, how powerful you are. You know, you need to remember, my gorgeous Virgolini, that you have to take care of yourself. Think about nature, reconnecting with the nature, helping yourself in that way. We are part of the nature. We get so much from the actual nature. Nature also gets so much from us, you know. We are very strongly connected to the actual nature. So at the time when you feel like, you know, a lot is going on and you are confused and it's all dark and uncertain, you know, just remember that at the same time that particular energy can be dealt with in such a way when it comes to your personal balance by going into the forest or being by the water, being by the river, being by the sea. There's so many different aspects of yourself that are going to be very much so spiritually cleansed in that way. So just try to remember this, and also try to remember to give credit to yourself. This is very important, my gorgeous Virgolinis, indeed. On another hand, you know, what else I was going to say, that and specifically there is going to be like an important family matter that you're going to have to deal with, you see. So somebody in your family, or somebody who's very close to you, or somebody who's really important to you, my gorgeous Virgolinis, you're very smart, you're very clever. I'm not saying that the other signs are not smart or clever, but I think that you're so on a very high level, specifically in particular when you know that something is not quite right. You're just absolutely certain when something is not quite right, whether this is to do with a person, whether this is to do with a group of people, whether this is to do with some wrongdoings, you know, it doesn't really matter. But this is something that you are aware of. You're gonna need to pretty much so project on somebody else, because somebody in your family, or somebody who's maybe like just like a little bit somebody who's very close to you, so it could be like a family member, or it could be like the best friend, for example, but somebody is maybe being misled, like there is no tomorrow, and you hold the power, you know the truth, your eyes are wide open, and that person needs your help in such a way when it comes to you providing them with a very important information. This in itself is going to mean to you so much, to both of you. That person is going to be very appreciative of that, but it's not only about this. So that person mean to you so much, so you're both going to get so much out of it. This is like a very powerful relationship. But then on another hand, what I want to say is that, you know, you're going to be very happy about this because you have got the very important information that this person is going to have. So just remember that this family matter is going to reflect on you later on big time, because you're going to feel really pleased with yourself because you have prevented something that person would have done, or something like that. They would really easily go off their path. They can go very easily off their path, and if they go off their path, you know, it's way too dark that way. You need to like kind of like make them aware of the path on the other side. The path on the other side is full of light, it's full of love, it's full of lots of realizations about things, you know, around us. So this is something that you need to prevent. So this is quite important indeed. And also you are going to overcome an absolutely mind-blowing obstacle, my gorgeous Virgolini, you know, and I'm so happy for you, because something that was pretty much so slowing you down, my God, you know, over the last 7 months in particular, your energy was very drained, you know, because of lots of worries, lots of uncertainties, lots of negativity, and this is an absolutely mind-blowing news. Because there is going to be huge, absolutely enormous obstacle that you are going to overcome. And I'm so happy, because this is going to lead towards the actual success, you know. And it's also like it's to do with things that you have been working on. It's to do with things that you wanted to achieve. It's to do with things that also kind of caused a blockage because they haven't been moving on, and you haven't been happy with that part of your life, because a lot hasn't been happening. And because a lot hasn't been happening in your life when it comes to that specific situation, that reflected on so many other aspects of your life. So you are pretty much, so you know, the last 7 months, oh my God, very strongly, you know, you were affected by this, because it made you feel really negative, and it was draining your energy, and it made you like more negative and more negative. So now this is going to be brilliant this month, because by the time the January comes to an end, you will overcome this obstacle. Very important news you will have. Okay, very significant news, and that in itself is just really going to surprise you, but in the best possible way, because something is going to take place, something is going to happen slightly earlier, and that in itself is going to open your portal as well. And this is specifically if you see number 333 or 33 or any combination of these numbers repeating, you need to understand that very soon after that moment in time, you're going to have a very powerful news, very important news, that news is going to make you aware that you have overcome a very, very difficult obstacle, okay? And that is going to lead towards you coming up with an important plan how to juggle things in your life. Okay, so now my gorgeous Virgolini, when it comes to the actual nutrition and things like that, it is very important for you to understand this. There is quite a lot of things are going to be happening, and you know, just you realizing quite a lot, just you having certain mysteries revealed, you know, you will just know what's wrong and you will know what's right, you know. But it's also, on another hand, it may be like a little bit draining, you know, so that might reflect on you feeling just a little bit drained and a little bit tired. So when it comes to nutrition, just make sure that you're taking like a nice natural B vitamin complex every single morning. I would most certainly suggest this. And B vitamin complex needs to be natural, and the folic acid needs to be made as a folate, and B12 needs to be made as a methylcobalamin, which is the natural version of that vitamin, because I always go for natural. For chemicals, no baby, no. We've got enough chemicals in our lives already. So that's why I'm saying that, just to make sure that these two ingredients in this B vitamin complex are natural. So what is B vitamin complex going to do if you take it every single morning, specifically because some supplements you shouldn't take it in the morning because it's not good. So with this, it's absolutely fine. So it's going to re-energize you, it's going to give you energy, it's going to make you feel optimistic, it's going to feed your brain literally, and it's going to make you feel like kind of like it's really great like for the nervousness and for the stress, you know, and it's brilliant for so many other things. But also it's absolutely fantastic when it comes to the actual entire digestive system, because your digestive system is going to be a little bit sensitive, which means try to drink as much as water as you can, avoid sugar, cut out sugar if you haven't cut out the sugar, my lord, like out of your life, because it's worse than a worse drug, you know. Sugar is worse than that thing that they put up their nose, you know. So this is something that I need you to understand. Just cut out sugar completely, and maybe use like organic honey, what I said before, organic maple syrup. It's just something that I highly recommend you. And also try to sip throughout the actual months like organic dandelion tea, but that dandelion tea need to be made from the whole plant and the root as well. And also organic chamomile tea. This is going to be absolutely superb when it comes to like boosting your immune system, really, but also at the same time it's going to be superb when it comes to flushing out the toxins out of the system. And especially lavender, especially the dandelion, you know, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And the chamomile is going to be superb for so many other things. It's absolutely essential for your own personal balance. And on another hand, your bones are going to be a little bit sensitive, so just try to make sure that you are taking nice vitamin D3 supplement alongside a vitamin K as well, okay, because it's going to help with its actual absorption. And this is something that's going to be superb when it comes to your sensitive bones. If you're on any other medications, if you are pregnant, if you are breastfeeding, you just need to check with your doctor, you just need to check with your GP. Only your doctor or GP can tell you whether this can interact with your existing medications or not. So now, my gorgeous Virgolini, I'm just going to see what is going to be the first important date. And before I go there, I would highly recommend you to get this gorgeous brand new pendant, and it's called Strawberry Quartz Pendant. It's absolutely fantastic because it's got this powerful energy to stimulate a flow of happiness, to make us feel positive, to make us feel optimistic, because the problem at this moment in time is because there is so much of the darkness and negative energy from the other side that is feeding us, and we don't want this, we don't like this whatsoever, and it's even feeding us when we are not aware of it. So there is a lot going on and happening around us that we are getting these subconscious messages. So we are like a spiritual sponges, so we kind of receive the messages that we don't really want to receive, even subconsciously, without even realizing. So that's why, you know, we very often we feel negative, and then we don't give credit to ourselves when we should give credit to ourselves, and then with things that we are doing in life, we don't reflect on them the way we should reflect. So this is why to stay on top of things is really important. And this Strawberry Quartz Pendant, as soon as you put it on, it's going to make you almost instantly optimistic, instantly positive. It's going to boost your energy almost immediately, and it's going to increase your vibration. So before you do anything important, I highly suggest you to get this. It helps you to come out of yourself, to open up, to feel yourself again, but also it's a big mama when it comes to the actual communication. This gorgeous Strawberry Quartz Pendant comes with a beautiful sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. And it's just to let you know that by buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel. I have to say that, so thank you. So now, the very first date, it's going to be important. Actually, the first of January, it's going to be like a little bit of like a ooh la la, like a bit of a spaced out day. It's going to be like an unusual vibration, an unusual energy, you know. But then again, in this is also going to be quite beneficial to you, because every time when you're thinking, you know, you're going to be drifting towards the specific part of your life that makes you feel really negative. And this is good because at the same time there is a spiritual key going, an answer to that. It's already like kind of floating around. So this is why you need to kind of deal with this, an issue that you need to pay attention to and deal with it once and for all. So this is going to start on the 1st of January, and then you've got 2nd, 3rd of January that this is going to become more clear, and by the time you come to the 4th of January, pretty much so it's all about you understanding this very strongly, because then and there is going to be a very kind of interesting omen that you are going to have. That omen is going to make you feel really special, it's going to make you feel really different, it's going to make you feel really powerful, but most importantly it's going to make you aware of your own spirituality, because you are in touch, you're in tune with things that are out of this world, but in the best possible way. You are naturally in tune with all the earthly energies. You're naturally in tune with all sorts of different dimensions from the moment you were born, Virgolinis, okay? You're naturally in tune with these things. So this is going to be nothing strange to you. But it happens when you reach the full circle. So you have been worrying, you have been in a negative bubble, so now that big mama is like, darling, bye. This is what am I talking about. So the 4th of January, it's all about the perfect combination of material and the spiritual prosperity that you are, spiritual prosperity that you are going to have, and that in itself is going to make you think about that particular obstacle. And the more you think about that obstacle, the more things are going to become obvious to you. The more sharp it's going to become to you, the realization that, you know, you have to like kind of like you're going to become awake to an unknown danger that is also yet again going going to be pretty much so highlighted, you know, at around the 18th of January 2022. But going further, the fact that you're going to become aware of the unknown danger, this is absolutely brilliant, because that in itself is going to happen at the right moment, at the right time, and it's only going to push you that little bit further, which is going to cause a bit of like a hermit moment, you know. Hermit moment is going to be pretty much so like it's going to happen in between the 4th and the in between the 4th and the 10th of January 2022. Hermit moment, obviously this is the time when you just want to kind of like really kind of be by yourself, and you want to think, but it's not like about being sad, depressed, blah blah blah. No baby, no, it's about you just like pretty much so like expanding your subconscious mind and your consciousness towards all sorts of directions. You know, we are living in a multiple dimensions like all the time, but sometimes we are more aware of them, sometimes we are not. It really depends where we are at. Because you are reaching an important completion, this is going to become quite clear to you, my gorgeous Virgolini, indeed. So it's all about you having this hermit moment, and that hermit moment, bam bam bam, something is going to come to the surface. You're going to become aware of an important, big, huge, massive, enormous idea, and that idea is just like, oh my god, it's going to make you feel very active almost immediately. It's going to make you feel so determined almost immediately. You know, you're going to feel, my god, a power. This essence is going to be absolutely impossible to ignore, my gorgeous Virgolinis. This is important. It's your coming home time, coming home to yourself, listening to yourself, and that in itself is going to build your strength even more, even further. So the second date is going to be on the 11th of January. Now the 11th of January, something moved. Now on the 11th, hello spirit. And on the 11th of January, you see something moved. And as soon as I mentioned the 11th of January, and this is just such a powerful number, and I know I always mention like this awakening and this and that, but trust me, this January, the energy is going to be powerful in itself. It's all about us feeling that push when we need it the most, you know. And then I feel something here, the spirit. I feel a spirit in this room. Catherine. There is a spirit called Catherine in this room, and Catherine is very excited about the 11th of January 2022. Catherine was a wonderful woman, and also there is like a very strong energy of Cancerian, Cancer. When it comes to Catherine, it's Cancer, Cancerian, very strong energy. But I've got Libra, I've got a Virgo as well. But these three signs are very strong when it comes to this spirit here, and Catherine is pretty excited that the 11th of January 2022 you are gonna have a mind-blowing sign about that particular idea on the 4th of January. So on the 4th of January this is all going to start. It's going to unfold nice until the 10th, and then the 11th of January it's going to bring you such a absolutely mind-blowing sign. Absolutely mind-blowing, weird sign. And you will know it's not only about the 11th of January, but it's all pretty much so in between 11th of January and the 17th of January. In between the 11th of January and the 17th of January, you're going to have an absolutely mind-blowing sign. That sign is going to make you aware of that idea that I was talking about on the 4th of January. That sign is going to open your eyes. It's going to make you feel so strongly and firmly standing on your own ground. You're going to feel very grounded, but most importantly, you will know exactly the direction that you will be heading towards, the direction that you're going to feel like, oh my god, you're not even going to be able to explain this, but it's all about you coming home to yourself and removing from the situation and people that have just been draining you for so long. So this is important. So in between the 11th and the 17th, the sign about the idea from the 14th, it's going to be absolutely obvious. On one hand, you're gonna kind of like be disappointed as well, because the specific part of your life, you know, that's going to be obvious then and there, it didn't maybe work out. But then that doesn't absolutely matter, because like a couple of days later, within the next few days, you know, you're going to become aware of like new possibilities that are going to bring some very important people in your life, new approaches to old problems, because you've been through so much. So now this is pretty much so from you responding with your own new knowledge. This is absolutely fantastic, because that idea that I'm talking about, it's just you will know that there is going to be a lot of like a hard work connected, and it's not going to be easy, but at least you're going to feel something so strongly, so like kind of very powerful direction, but then your subconscious mind is just going to be pushing you towards it, so you're not going to be able to ignore it. This is going to bring you, and this is to do with the hard work, of course, one step at a time. The best thing in life don't happen quick. See, this is what you need to remember, but this is going to bring you progress. And when it comes to finances, financial situation, it's going to require from you to reorganize your life and pay attention to priorities when it comes to the actual priorities. But on another hand, this is going to be connected to the very successful dealings, very successful conversation, very successful communication, which is going to happen in between the 11th of January and the end of that month. So this is absolutely brilliant. And even more so, a quite positive news is going to happen, that you know what you were working on, the efforts are nearly due. So this is going to be quite, oh thank God, you know. So this is another problem. It's going to be off your mind, and that in itself is going to just increase your own optimism and positivity, and you're going to feel so happy. You know why? Because the period and stage in between the 11th and the 17th of January 2022, it's not only about your own homecoming time, but it's to do with like you just like really removing yourself from unsatisfied desires, from struggle, you know, from like a conflicts and obstacles that you've had so far, from the negativity, sadness, heaviness. You don't want this anymore. This is the time of your own journey. This is the time of your own departure. This is the time of your own advancement, when you will know that it's to do, there's so many elements of the unknown, but you will know that you're doing the right thing, because you will not want anymore like that's one path and that's another path. This path is so easy, but there is something just not bloody right. There is something doesn't make sense. So this path is really easy, but it doesn't make sense. And this path is very difficult, but you know it's the right thing to do. So this is going to be on your mind. And the answer to this, it's going to be the card, tarot card, the world, success. Okay? Optimism, excitedness, you know, like doing the right thing, you know. It's absolutely fantastic. And also on another hand, just don't forget that this is a very powerful time of your life. What else I was going to recommend you with Seraphinite? An absolute Seraphinite. It's an absolutely gorgeous new pendant in my store, and it's brilliant for healing and for nerves and brain, and it removes all patterns of imbalance you know, all old patterns of imbalance will most certainly fall away when you wear this. And this is so important because you've been through so much, and when we are through so much in our lives, it leaves the certain negative trail, the trail of negativity behind us, especially if karmically we still haven't kind of come to terms with certain things. So it's going to like kind of like a drag and drag and drag. So this is why this is so important, to actually remove the old patterns, you know, of imbalance, because they will most certainly fall away when you wear this. And every single time when you feel like a negative, like a low, slow, uncertain, when you feel spaced out, when you feel like, oh, things are really weird, you know, this is brilliant, because a lot of times can be kind of connected to our past and things that we've been through. So this will almost immediately boost your energy, boost your vibration. It's going to make you feel optimistic, but also it's brilliant when you're doing like really important things in life. This comes with a gorgeous sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel as well. Now the last date is the 31st of January. The 31st of January is just pretty much so somebody who is important to you, somebody who is loyal to you, like a loyal friend, or somebody who is significant to you, or maybe like a significant family member. It's going to tell you something. There is a specific information that they will tell you, and this is important when it comes to the actual wise investment. You know, you will know which part of your life to invest, and most certainly this is going to be the right thing, because materialistically this is actually going to be really beneficial. But it's going to be very interesting the way this is going to be pinpointed to you. Maybe the certain family member or friend means somebody who's very important to you is just like kind of gonna remind you of something, like some kind of skill or something, the certain part of you, which is most certainly going to like kind of, oh, interesting, you know, it's most certainly going to make you feel very interested. But on another hand, it is going to bring you the financial gain within the next 6 months, you see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So by July 2022, there is going to be quite interesting financial gain that you're going to get through this. So it's worth to remember. And also, on another hand, you know what else I was going to say? You are also, there is a quite powerful information that you are going to have here. And the information that you are going to have, that you're going to become aware of, is just going to help you to make a certain decision. So there is a very powerful information that you're going to become aware of that is going to help you to make a certain decision, because through this powerful information, you're going to become aware of the darkness. I know this is like, oh my God, it sounds like a dark reading, dark Lala reading, but it's not really, trust me. It's actually going to be really good months for you, where you're going to be able to most certainly move on, you know. You will find yourself on the spiritual quest, which means that naturally you will want to kind of make more from life. But because the balance is going to be just perfect, this is going to be time when things are going to start changing, you know. So never ever underestimate your own power, my gorgeous Virgolini. It's important, because through that information you will become aware of the certain deception, trickery, dishonesty, very bad influence, you know, insincerity, you know, double dealing, you know, and that is going to make you cautious. So this is important for your own balance indeed. Okay, so now well, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall and the major lift, the bar for king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty and the moonlight overthrew ya. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I love you, my gorgeous Virgolini. So now I'm just gonna focus what to pay attention to in the first part of January, mid part of January, and the last part of January. So the first part of January, you know, you are gonna pretty much so have a very exciting intellectual challenge, which is on another hand going to open your eyes, and it's going to bring you a brilliant insight that is going to be followed by information that you're going to become aware of that you need, but then again it's a bit challenging to receive. So if there are any documents and things like that you're doing and dealing with, you know, you just need to remember to review your documents really carefully. The mid part of January, it's very important to actually, it's a lot of unfounded fear. It's going on pretty much so because of the negative energies. So it's just kind of like a time to refocus your thoughts. Just remember that to refocus your thoughts. Think about the balance, like go to the forest, do something different. You know, it's a lot to do with the spiritual domino, and it's a lot to do with bringing something new into our lives or changing things slowly or slightly. Okay, the last part of January, you know, there is an absolutely big mama moment going to happen, because this is when you're going to realize, my God, it's time to head in a new direction, because you are going to have such an important and powerful clarity on your life purpose, and in your heart you will know what to do. Just remember how many times I had said that this is your homecoming time to yourself, to your own spirit, baby. Okay, so now I'm just going to see what is going to happen to those of you in relationship. You know, for you, my gorgeous Virgolinis, for those of you in relationship, it's pretty much so a very something that you have been waiting for, and especially when it comes to it around the 10th of January, 10th, 11th, 12th, in between the 10th and the 17th of January, there is a kind of like you're going to both realize that you're approaching the end of the problem, you know, a very heavy problem, and that is going to happen at around the time when you when the certain unexpected events occur. So when you start focusing on these events, you will realize what I was saying. So that in itself is going to make you realize, to both of you, you're going to become aware of some very important part of your life that you need to learn about, you need to read up about. There is a certain knowledge that's missing with what you want to do, where you want to get, how you want to get there, you know, because there's certain changes that you will make, you know. You're going to need to learn how to you're going to need to learn how to make a way around where you want to get, you see. So this is why this is so important. So it's just all about this knowledge, very sacred knowledge. What you need to learn, you will learn as the couple, and that is going to be absolutely super evident at around the end of January, because when you look towards your future, you know, you will see that you have made a really, really big step, really big progress indeed. So now, when it comes to those of you that are single and ready to mingy, my gorgeous Virgolini, you know, this is brilliant, because at the same time you are at around the 9th of January, there is actually going to be the moment when you're going to become aware of some kind of accomplishment about yourself, a very special and specific part of your life you're going to feel so good about. This is going to like really kind of remind you how maybe things used to be in your life, and that in itself is going to make you think about a certain aspect. Almost immediately there is some kind of conclusion going to come to you, a realization gonna come to you, and that realization, it's going to make you feel so optimistic and so good about yourself. And this is when you're gonna start opening up, and this is when you're gonna want to kind of like really make a big step. When I say that single Virgolinis are going to make a big step, I mean that there is someone like a pretty much so that is slowly gonna start walking into your life, and that person is gonna start walking into your life at around this time when this actually happens, you know, when this conclusion happens. And that person is also kind of going to seem like very interesting, very special, very different, very unusual, but you're not going to be able to ignore, you're not going to be able to like, oh my god, not to notice that person. And although the first of all, I see the few different stages, the few different steps that you're going to have, first friendly and things like that, and then stranger in the night, Virgolini in the morning, stranger in the night, Virgolini in the morning. No, I'm just joking, but it's just basically, yeah, it's gonna be like that. Like, first of all, I know that it's going to be like a full package. So basically, it's going to happen, you know, this month, someone very special is about to walk into your life, and that person is going to be very interesting, very unusual, but in the best possible way. Is going to have everything, but also everything is going to be like, ooh la la, but also very special things about that person you're going to find very interesting when it comes to their character, and they're going to find interesting you as well, and you're going to feel something so special and so different after quite a while now. So you will know that this person is rather different indeed. And my gorgeous Virgolinis, it's not even going to be that long. My gorgeous Virgolinis, I wish you the happiest year 2022 indeed. And I also wish and I hope that it's going to be much better than that ugly 2021, like my lord, you know, so we can hope for the best. So I also, I wish you all the best. I wish you lots of happiness, lots of success, and just remember to stay on top of the things. And by staying on top of the things, just be optimistic, think about what you're going to do, you, think about yourself, think about your next step. This is how you increase in your vibration with your own motivation. So this is a very, very important in these times indeed. Okay, my gorgeous Virgolinis, I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings to all of you, my gorgeous Virgolinis, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.